This is OGTV Comprehensive News. I am Tunji Akintayo. Thanks for joining us. On the news, federal government confirms another case of coronavirus in Lagos. Ogun State House of Assembly advises local governments to start up campaign against the spread of COVID-19. European Commission bans all non-essential travel in Europe's Schengen free travel zone. Push harder than yesterday if you want a different tomorrow.
And coming up on business segment of the news, Nigeria's inflation rate rises to 12.20%. Details will come your way on the business segment of the news. I am Bukola Abdaki, so you're welcome.
And on sports, UEFA postpones Euro 2020 just as Nigeria shifts National Sports Festival. These stories and many more when I return on the sports segment of the news. My name, Hakeem Akitunde. You're welcome.
Now the news in full. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, said a 30-year-old Nigerian woman has been confirmed positive to coronavirus infection in Lagos. Dr. Hanire said the new patient who returned through the Murtala Muhammed International Airport, Lagos, from United Kingdom was placed under treatment after testing positive.
Means that we're going to find out everything about her travel pattern, her travel history, and be able to follow up on what we need to follow up on. She did fill a self-reporting form when she arrived. She was tested at the airport, and according to the information we have, she seemed to have had no symptoms at that time she was tested. But we have retrieved the form because the form she filled when she came is not lost. It's being examined, and as she's in hospital, we ask her questions.
The health minister said the procedures on ground to prevent the spread of coronavirus has so far been effective. He, however, wants Nigerians to remain vigilant about their health and to avoid large gatherings. Meanwhile, the federal government has raised a presidential task force for the control of coronavirus in Nigeria. The 12-member committee is chaired by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. The Secretary, while inaugurating the committee on Tuesday in Abuja, said it had 6 months to complete its assignment. Ogun State House of Assembly has called on community heads and community departments of various local government council areas to intensify efforts on campaign towards educating the rural communities on how to avoid the dreaded coronavirus. Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, made this call at the plenary while reacting to the submission for more public sensitization on coronavirus. Kolawole Osho reports that the House of Assembly also received a correspondence from the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, on a bill seeking for amendment of the Ogun State Health Insurance Law 2018.
In its bid to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, also, the Ogun State House of Assembly, during its plenary, has admonished community development councils, Ogun State Council of Baales, and community departments of various local government areas of the state to join hands with governments in the area of sensitization in order to safeguard the people from contacting the deadly virus. Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, gave the admonition at the plenary in his reaction to the submission of Honorable Adeyemi Ademuyiwa, who spoke under personal explanation and pointed out that the state should do more on sensitization and prevention of the virus.
As of today, the state is really trying. If you go on here, on OGTV every day, there was this campaign being made to the people as how to guard themselves against coronavirus. The same thing on the Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, OGBC. Some private radio and television stations around have started doing similar things.
Beyond the media sensitization, it is imperative that various local government areas get on board in containing the coronavirus pandemic.
Let me take advantage of your contribution to challenge the community development departments of our various local governments to join hands with the health department and the Ministry of Health as a whole to now start going from community to community to enlighten our people. I think that will play the role. And I want to seize this opportunity to call on the leadership of Community Development Council in Ogun State to set up a special body among themselves that will ensure that the sensitization against corona, those measures that are taking over by themselves. Let them own the campaign. Let them start going from one place to the other. The same thing happened to Ogun State Council of Balance to walk up to the Ministry of Health and get people that will help us to sensitize our people.
Also, the House received a correspondence from the State Governor on a bill for a law to amend the Ogun State Health Insurance Law 2020.
A bill for a law to amend the Ogun State Health Insurance Law 2018. Kindly find attached here with a copy of the bill for the amendment of the Ogun State Health Insurance Law 2019. The bill, which has received the approval of the State Health Council, is being forwarded for due consideration of the House of Assembly and consequent passage into law.
Similarly, member representing Imekwa for State Constituency, Honorable Jemili Akingbade, brought to the notice of the House attitude of customs officers in his constituency over 20 kilometers radius to borderlines to those who deal with petroleum products, which he said has been extended to 35 kilometers due to the overzealousness of the officers, describing it as not palatable to his constituent. Right Honorable Oluomo, however, called on Governor Dapo Abiodun to please intervene into the matter by appealing to Comptroller General of Customs to call them to order by maintaining the 20-kilometer radius.
The Ogun State government, through the Teaching Service Commission TESCOM, is set for another recruitment exercise for suitable qualified candidates for the post of teachers in public secondary schools in the 4 divisions of Ogun State. The services of the teachers will be needed in the following academic disciplines: English language, mathematics, agricultural science, home economics, physical health education, creative arts, Yoruba, Christian religious studies, Islamic religious studies, computer science, civics education, economics and commerce. Others are financial accounting, physics, biology, chemistry, literature in English, geography, further mathematics, government, social studies, business studies, basic science, basic technology, history, and French. Candidates with Bachelor of Education in Arts, Sciences, Social Sciences, Technology, Home Economics, and other courses relevant to the above listed subjects are qualified. Also, candidates with Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Technology, and postgraduate diploma are also qualified. Candidates with a higher national diploma, particularly in STEM-related subjects, and technical teacher certificate and postgraduate diploma in education are also qualified to apply. Interested candidates must apply on the job portal jobs@ogunstate.gov.ng. Only candidates who apply for the job on the portal and also fill the form will be considered. In addition to this, prospective candidates are expected to possess first school leaving certificate, senior secondary certificate with a minimum of 5 credits, including English and mathematics, first degree certificate, NYSC discharge or exemption certificate, certificate of birth issued by a recognized agency, valid means of identification, evidence of change of name if applicable. The activity lasts till the 3rd of April 2020. Though with these attending challenges, enrolling children in boarding schools has been identified as a transformative experience in learning to communicate with others among the children. This was the opinion of respondents who spoke with OGTV News on the significance of boarding schools on children upbringing. Elizabeth Esson completes the story.
Upbringing is in various stages: mentally, physically, socially, and intellectually. This development is necessary at the tender age of any child for a meaningful future. Speaking with OGTV News on which type of academic environment is more beneficial and of high significance to child's upbringing.
Because I was in the boarding house all through periods of my education, from the primary to secondary to higher school to university. It will make a student to be well focused.
The economic situation of the country has made most parents to resolve to enrolling their children in the boarding schools for proper monitoring.
Some will leave even before the children wake up, and they will be coming back when the children might have slept away. So with that, we can say that we don't have enough time for the upgrading of these our children. That is why we are saying that they better taken care of in a boarding school.
Boarding schools are classified with vast number of activities, programs and challenges available to students on daily basis. And it is a community where learning, personal growth and exploration are top priorities.
It trains them to wake up early in the morning. It trains them what they have to do, aspects of their life in the morning, and what can they do together as a team. How to wash their undies, how to make sure they wake up early in the morning and pray together. That's why I said you must look for what type of boarding house I want to fix my child.
Respondents enjoined parents not to see the act of putting their children in the boarding schools as an avenue to abandon those children in the school or not giving them necessary parental care and attention.
Some parents who are fed up of their children, who believe they cannot handle the upbringing of the children, they just tend to throw them in the boarding house. Such parents don't even look back until the close of the term. And in most cases, they don't even come to pick them. The children travel home of their own volition.
While the educational experience at the boarding schools is important to personal and educational growth, as well as development, it is also a precursor to life after school. Elizabeth Tesson, OGTV News.
Over time, the position of women in the society has changed from the domestic spectrum into a more participatory role in nation building through involvement in politics and polity. This was the submission of respondents who spoke with our reporter Adebola Oshomoji on the role of women in African society. Our report.
Over the years, a lot of controversies have always surrounded the role played by women in Africa, as many perceived their role as one of submissiveness, often seen and not heard. Research has proven that in most African cultures, women are usually the hardest to growth of the family, occasioned by their natural roles of childbearing and homekeeping. Respondents in their submission stated that women should be given more platforms to operate in the society.
As women, we are really making impact. Let's start from the market. You will see them selling ewedu. You will see them here and they are selling this, selling that. Women are not resting. They need to make money to fend for their words, to fend for their children, to fend for the family, their mom, their dad, every person.
What a man can do, a woman can do it better. The International Women's Day this year is calling for equity between men and women.
Women that have this extraordinary patience, they have something in them that the men don't have. We know what it takes to hit the purpose line, and so we try to put all of this in the life of children. So any woman that has failed in raising children has failed the society.
Men should give us time to do it. For example, now in education setting, we have commissioner, female commissioner. We have a essay, female essay. Even the PS2 is a female, and they are performing.
They frowned at the perception that women are weaker sex and inferior to men.
Let's give ourselves that chance. Let us see ourselves as being important. Once we believe in ourselves, you believe in me, I believe in you, I trust you, you trust me, sky is our limit. We will make 100% impact, and we will help this nation to progress.
In the past, women don't go to House of Assemblies, they don't go to House of Representatives, they don't go to Senate, but today we have women representatives in Senate, and we have them all over places. The only place in Nigeria as of today is the position of presidency, and I am very sure that very soon a woman will become the president of Nigeria, and we will be better for it. We will give good quality leadership, and that no one has been able to, equal before.
We have to sensitize them. We have to let them know that we women too, we can perform better than our men.
Therefore, African women should be given equal opportunity with their male counterpart for economies and communities to thrive. Adebola Oshomuji, OGTV News.
Still to come in the news, National Chairman of APC, Adams Oshomole, chairs APC National Working Committee meeting in Abuja. More news and reports after this break.
From concept to delivery, every step is a mark of quality and experience. Our creative excellence guarantees precision, elegance, and class, and that's for all people with good taste in fashion. Leaning on sophisticated tailoring technology, we produce thousands of garments per day. Our Tailoring and Vocational Institute is next to none, training and mentoring hundreds of young and proficient tailors every year. Enroll or sponsor a candidate today. Wesley Creations for exclusive fashion.
You're welcome back. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has vehemently condemned the submissions of his Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Dr. Oludare Sunday Kehinde, about Chief Olusegun Oshoba. Rather, the governor described the national leader of the All Progressives Congress as a consummate politician, altruistic leader, and a very forthright compass for the entire progressive community in Ogun State. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Kunle Shomori, the governor viewed the uncomplimentary comments as distasteful, unwarranted, and therefore disassociated himself and the government of Ogun State from the unsavory comments. Governor Abiodun, who went down the memory lane to chronicle the political sojourn of Chief Oshoba, noted that his immense contributions and dint of consistency, hard work, and commitment have birthed many administrations in Ogun State, while many have achieved success as well as attained leadership positions with the benefit of Chief Oshoba's tremendous goodwill by generally providing, identifying, and nurturing talents. The statement says that Chief Olusegun Oshoba's repute is timeless and transcends Ogun State and indeed many spheres where he has stamped his authority for him to be a subject of such careless remarks. The governor therefore registered his appreciation and indeed proud to be associated with Chief Oshoba for the leadership role in bringing the current administration in place, as well as his role as a pillar of support which will help to stabilize the Dapo Abiodun administration. Governor Dapo Abiodun has then tendered an unreserved apology to Chief Olusegun Oshoba and reiterated that the unsavory comments are not a reflection of his person, standing, and background of an esteemed and much respected Chief Oshoba. The governor assured all that the government and good people of Ogun State will continue to reference all the unparalleled exploits of Chief Oshoba in the journalism profession, political landscape, and leadership space, describing him as an icon and a torchbearer. President Muhammadu Buhari has promised continued support for the administration of the new governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Joye Diri, in his efforts at maintaining peace and stability in the state as well as enhancing the livelihood of its people. It was the first formal engagement meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the new Bayelsa State Governor, Senator Doye Diri. The meeting held behind closed doors and lasted about 30 minutes. Governor Diri told newsmen shortly after that the meeting was fruitful.
As a governor of Bayelsa State, I have not come to see the father of the country, the father of our nation. I just did that. Mr. President received me as one of his sons, as a state governor, and the reception was very warm. And he went ahead to advise that he was happy that I came, and I was happy with the way I have started. And in fact, he went on to say he has read about all the statements that I have made and the security so far in Bayelsa, and that he promised that as one of his sons, as a state like Bayelsa that is critical to the security and peace in the Niger Delta, he was prepared to also work with me.
A beneficiary of the judicial decision by the nation's apex court, Governor Doye Diri of the PDP came to power on the 14th of February this year. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Adams Oshiomhole, has met with members of the party's National Working Committee. The meeting comes less than 24 hours after the appeal court ordered a stay of execution of the order of the FCT High Court suspending him as the national chairman of the party. Mr. Oshiomhole, while meeting with party executives at the APC Secretariat in Abuja, said conflict is natural in a party of their size. Speaking on resolving some of the issues affecting the party, he said the APC is united and not divided and will be used as an instrument for the development of Nigeria. He said parties that are pro-people usually have more challenges than conservative parties. According to him, despite the challenges the party has faced, the APC remains strong, admitting that he is not a perfect being, but his sincerity of purpose cannot be denied. The APC national chairman said he is willing to reconcile his style of leadership with that of other members of the party so that they can work together. He thanked the judiciary for overturning the High Court ruling, saying internal differences will be settled internally. Meanwhile, the hearing of the motion on notice has been fixed for Friday, the 20th of March, 2020. Meanwhile, the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has lifted its suspension on the party's Deputy National Chairman North, Senator Lawal Shaibu, and National Vice Chairman North, Inua Abu Kabir. The National Chairman of the party, Adams Oshiomhole, made the announcement after the party's National Working Committee meeting in Abuja. He said, in the spirit of reconciliation, the NWC sought and reviewed the case of the Deputy National Chairman North, Senator Lawal Shaibu, and areas where the party felt he offended the system, which led to the suspension, and decided in the new spirit to lift the suspension. The Supreme Court has adjourned till yet to be announced date its decision in an application by the Abdulaziz Yari faction of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for a review of its May 24, 2019 judgment in the intra-party dispute in the Zamfara APC. The Supreme Court had in the judgment held, among others, that the APC did not hold valid primaries preparatory to the 2019 general elections, voided its party's victory and elections, and made a consequential order directing the party with the second highest scores in the election to claim the victory. The People's Democratic Party in Zamfara State benefited from the effect of the consequential order. But in application argued on Tuesday by the lawyer to the Yari faction of the Zamfara APC, Robert Clark, SAN, prayed the court to review the consequential order on the grounds that it was wrongly made. Members of the House of Representatives have rejected the bill to establish the Civil Societies Regulatory Commission for coordinated regulation of civil society organizations. The bill was sponsored by Honorable Tajuddin Abbas during plenary, but some members opposed the bill, saying it goes against Section 40 of the Constitution, which gives every citizen the right to assemble freely. However, the Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, expressed support for the bill, stating that it does not go against the Constitution, neither does it seek to muzzle free speech or association. After listening to submissions from his colleagues, Honorable Abbas opted to step down the bill. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, is currently meeting the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, in Abuja over the strike embarked upon by the union. When the two sides met on Thursday, the meeting was adjourned after the federal government proposed the merger of the contentious Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System and ASU Salary Payment System. It was agreed that ASU should present the proposal to Congress before meeting. Before Tuesday meeting went into a closed session, ASU President Professor Abiodun Ogunyemi said it was unfortunate that the government's IPPIS looked like the major issue on the union's demands. The 2020 Holy Pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina by the Ogun State Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board has started. Intending pilgrims can still obtain their Hajj application forms and make Hajj fare initial deposit of the sum of 1,200,000 naira with the board located at Block B, New Secretariat Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. And a release signed by the Executive Secretary, Alhaji Salauddin Dauda Babatunde, enjoins the intending pilgrims who have deposited 1 million naira and above out of their initial Hajj fare with the board to kindly come and submit their international passport for online visa application processing with Saudi Arabia Embassy. The processing of Hajj application of intending pilgrims is on first-come, first-served basis. The ongoing traffic diversion as a result of the reconstruction of Shagamu-Abeokuta Expressway has extended to Imuemulu from Shagamu Interchange. This development, according to the Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Trace in Ogun State, therefore enjoined motorists inbound Abeokuta to follow Abeokuta outbound lane. The diversion also affects motorists coming from Ogere and Owodi-Egba Township to Shiwood Express Junction. Road users are therefore enjoined to drive with caution as relevant signs have been placed at the entry and exit points of the diversion. The statements are that trace operatives are on ground to carefully monitor and control traffic to guarantee total safety. Police brutality in Nigeria has been a subject of concern to the citizens, many of whom believe a critical look into the police reform bill remains the only way to curb the menace. This was the submission of those who expressed their opinions with OGTV News on some underlying factors and reasons police brutality is excessive in the country. Peter Falomo reports.
This brutality of crime suspects or any other person has become one of the many unpleasant occurrences between the police and the people in incidents that threaten public peace or ones that lead to arguments. It is believed that such brutality has assumed a proportion that has reached heights of outcry by those that are directly or indirectly affected.
I must say the police in Nigeria, to be sincere or to be fair, as not sometimes you view them as being very brutal on suspects, which is not the standard procedure in the developed world. I've experienced it personally, even before joining PCRC. And at the point, I believe that police in Nigeria are not good. But PCRC completely changed my perspective.
Present government used to be very, very bad. But in attempt to react sometimes, it becomes tougher. Killings, so reaction of the society.
This has sparked agitations for urgent implementation of Anti-Torture Act to curtail the increasing menace of brutality by law enforcement agents.
You see some officers doing it, but then it is not permitted under any law. It is not allowed. It is wrong. In fact, I see it more of an offense for a law enforcement officer to go into the extent of brutalizing a citizen of Nigeria, even a non-citizen, even if it's a convict.
What is obtainable here in Nigeria, what has been obtained in Nigeria, cannot be compared to some developed countries. That is why I will need to appeal to our police formation, including army uniform, whatever formation generally, and we should comply with what the law says. When there's a law in place, human rights are inalienable rights. They cannot just be violated.
But in his reaction, Police Public Relations Officer, Ogun State Command, DSP Abimbola Oyeyemi says, brutality has become a thing of the past, adding that the new trend of policing in Nigeria is technologically driven.
No matter the degree of the offense, no suspect is allowed to be brutalized. Do your investigation. You are not the judge. The policeman is not the judge. Thank God that we even have a technology. Most of crime are being dictated technologically. So you have no reason to say I didn't commit this offense.
Government is, however, enjoined to ensure that reformation of the Nigeria police is looked into in order to eliminate cases of brutality and the likes between the police and the people. Peter Falomo, OGTV News.
You are watching OGTV News. Up next is Business News with Bukola Agbakizu.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. Nigeria is operating a mono economy as 85% of our revenue is derived from oil and gas export. This requires the involvement of financial diversification towards ensuring socio-economic growth of the country. In this special report, Kunle Ibikunle takes a look at the prospect of diversifying the economy to the development of the nation.
Most developing economies of the world, agriculture is a key potential for economic growth and development. To this end, Nigerian leadership is not leaving any stone unturned towards ensuring the growth of the country through diversification from oil to non-oil sectors.
Government has closed the land border, so that has assisted the effort at ensuring that people now pay more attention to local rice, which of course we are, whether we like it or not, we are consuming, and that is very good for our economy because farmers who farm, they will always have markets for their produce.
Respondents who spoke with OGTV News identify good policies and technology towards ensuring development and prospects for diversification into agriculture.
And I would actually recommend massive investment in the industrial sector. So Nigeria has a very good. We have the market. We have the good industrial base. We are ready, or we are set to actually project our own industrial sector further. And as far as agriculture is concerned, yes, agriculture is good and is also a very good source of revenue, provided that it can be on a mechanized scale.
Speaking on the prospects of diversification, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Dotun Shonunke, highlights some of the policies that Ogun State has put in place towards ensuring development of the state.
We have so many windows. We have the Anchor Borrowers Program window, which is being supported by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We have the OSTEP windows, the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, which is aimed to support about 40,000 farmers along the value chains of agriculture. And we have other windows as well. We have the federal government windows, where they want to assist outgrowers scheme, outgrowers of communities who are ready to donate land.
On the involvement of youth and job creation, the Permanent Secretary speaks.
We commission the broiler projects at Odeda Farm Institute, Iweje, where 54 youths were encouraged to do broiler production, 1,000 broiler each, and that translates to 54,000 birds. How do we do it? We provide, the Ogun State government provided the infrastructure. We source for an anchor, that is the market. So the moment there's assurance of market, agricultural production is easy. Then we source for a funding partner, that is the Bank of Industry.
They admonish you to embrace agriculture in order to benefit more from government policies and programs aimed at making them self-reliant and employers of labor.
Following the continued spread of coronavirus and its impact on the global commodity markets, there seems to be a heightened pressure on the nation's budget as the price of burning light declines to $29 per barrel. This is coming a day after Saudi Arabia flooded the international markets with crude oil at prices as low as $25 per barrel. It was gathered that the move specially targeted to major refiners of Russian oil in Europe and Asia in an escalation of its fight with Moscow for market share. Arab Light and Arab Medium barrels were offered at selling price of $25 to $28 per barrel on CIF Rotterdam basis. Meanwhile, the new drop in Bonny Light to $29.42 per barrel show a difference of $2.31 per barrel against what was recorded last Friday. Also, Brent declined by 12% to $29.24 per barrel, its lowest level since February 2016. Nigeria's headline inflation has recorded yet another rise in 12.20% in February from the 12.13% recorded in January the same year. A report published by the National Bureau of Statistics on Tuesday revealed that food inflation increased marginally year-on-year to 14.90% in January 2020 compared to the figures obtained in January 2019. Core inflation also rose to 9.43% in January 2020 compared to the 9.35% figures in January 2020. Earlier in January, data from the NBS showed that food prices forced Nigeria's inflation for the month to hit 12.13%, recording 5 months of consecutive increase. It revealed that the rise in the food index was caused by increase in prices of bread and cereals, meat, oil and fats, potato, yam and other tubers. Despite price gains that outweighed losses, the Nigerian equities market reopened the week on a downturn, causing the all-share index to plummet further by 0.12%. Specifically, at the close of trading, the ASI fell by 28.16 points or 0.12% to 22,705.19 points. Accordingly, investors lost 15 billion in value as market capitalization declined to 11.832 trillion naira. The downturn was impacted by losses recorded in medium and large capitalized stocks, among which are Lafarge Africa, Dangote Sugar Refinery, United Bank for Africa, and Skyway Aviation Handling Company. A 50 billion naira credit facility has been announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, for micro, small, and medium enterprises hard hit by coronavirus. The Apex Bank said the facility will be given out through the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending Microfinance Bank for the targeted beneficiaries, including but not limited to hoteliers, airline service providers, and healthcare merchants, among others. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele dropped the hint at a news conference in Abuja, where he rolled out the Apex Bank's interventions to cushion the effects of COVID-19 on the economy. The health industry was listed among those to benefit from the palliative, as Emefiele said that in order to meet potential increase in demand for healthcare services and products, the CBN announced the credit facility. And the republics of Togo, Niger, and Benin owe Nigeria a total of 29.97 billion naira for the electricity supplied to them from January to September last year, according to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Nigeria, through Electricity Transmission Company, supplies power to these countries, which are classified as international customers in the Nigeria power sector. Nigeria's power firm failed to pay a total invoice of 3.01 billion naira it received in the first quarter of 2019, 3.69 billion naira in quarter 2, and 4.1 billion naira in quarter 3. A power firm owed by Togo and Benin did not pay 9.74 billion naira for the power supply to it in quarter 1, 7.16 billion naira in quarter 2, and 2.27 billion naira in quarter 3.
Details are in this package.
On the world today, we'll be looking at the effect of the coronavirus across the globe. The European Union Commission is planning to ban all non-essential travel throughout European Schengen free travel zone as more countries close their borders to try to limit the spread of the coronavirus. The European Union Commission President said she would ask leaders to implement the measures on Tuesday. She said the less travel, the more the Union can contain the virus. Meanwhile, tough new measures in France restricting movement from the home are coming into effect on Tuesday. In the United Kingdom, the government will unveil more financial plans to help the economy during the coronavirus outbreak after the Prime Minister announced unprecedented peacetime measures. Boris Johnson has urged everyone to avoid unnecessary social contact, to work from home where possible, and to stay away from pubs and restaurants. People in at-risk groups will be asked within days to stay home for 12 days. Firms warn the virus restriction could put them out of business. The number of people who have died with the virus in the UK has reached 55. More than 1,500 people have tested positive to the virus in the UK, but the actual number of cases is estimated to be between 35,000 and 50,000. The UK shift in strategy comes as Europe plans to ban all non-essential travel throughout the Schengen free travel zone as more countries close their borders. In Africa, there are now more than 400 known cases of coronavirus across the continent, with nations imposing a range of measures to try to prevent the spread. According to data, there are 60 cases in Algeria, 126 cases in Egypt, 5 cases in Cameroon, 15 in Burkina Faso, 3 in Nigeria, 26 in Senegal, 3 in Ivory Coast, 6 in Ghana, 62 in South Africa, 37 in Morocco, and 1 in Sudan. While many countries are closing schools, banning large gatherings, and shortening borders in Kenya, telecom companies have slashed the cost of mobile money transfers in a bid to encourage people to go cashless. And that's it on The World Today.
From The World Today, let's go to the world of sports with Akeem Akitunde. Welcome to the sports segment of the news. Of course, you can also call it Corona-tinted sports news. Starting with tennis, the French Open has been moved to September and October as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. The event at Roland Garros was due to be played from 24 May to 7 June, but instead will take place between 20 September and 4 October. That means it will begin just 1 week after the completion of the US Open in New York. All professional tennis across the world is currently suspended until at least 28th of April. Similarly, the first 3 meetings of the Diamond League season have been called off because of the coronavirus outbreak. The events were scheduled to take place in Doha, Qatar on 17th April, Shanghai on 16th May, and another Chinese venue that was yet to be named on 9th of May. Organizers hope to stage the Shanghai meeting on 13 August, while no new dates for the other 2 meetings have been announced.
And back home, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the postponement of the 20th edition of the National Sports Festival, scheduled to hold in Edo State from March 22nd to 2020 to a future date. According to the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare, the postponement was a precautionary move against the spread of COVID-19. Dare noted that a meeting among stakeholders on the COVID-19 vis-a-vis the sports festival was earlier held at the Ministry of Health towards making a decision on the postponement. He added that President Buhari approved the postponement to a future date after receiving briefing on the outcome of the meeting.
Mr. President took the decision and gave the directive that the National Sports Festival, Christian Edo 2020, should be postponed as a precautionary move against the spread of COVID-19.
Is a possibility of people carrying the virus even without knowing, what we call asymptomatic people. That is, they carry it, but they don't even know because they are not manifesting symptoms. And what we know so far is that up to 80–81% of people will either be asymptomatic, that is not showing any symptoms, or where they show symptoms, the symptoms will just be mild to moderate. And this is a major source of what we call community transmission. So the principle of social distancing has to be respected. That is, preventing or advising against congregation of large number of people.
The Minister of Sports and the Minister of State for Health there talking about the postponement or the reason behind the postponement of the National Sports Festival. Japan's Olympic Minister says the country is still planning for a complete hosting of the Tokyo Olympics that will be held on time with spectators in attendance. On Saturday, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said the Olympics will still go ahead despite coronavirus. The IOC met on Tuesday to discuss the Olympics and, in particular, qualifying events that have been hit. Japan has had more than 1,400 cases and 28 deaths resulting from coronavirus. Euro 2020 has been postponed by 1 year until 2021 because of the coronavirus pandemics, say multiple European football associations. UEFA, European football governing body, has been holding an emergency video conference involving major stakeholders on Tuesday. The associations say it was decided the tournament will now take place from 11th June to 11th July next year. The tournament was due to take place from 12th June to 12th July this year at 12 venues across Europe. The postponement provides a chance for European leagues that have been suspended to now be completed. And Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has ordered that Nasarawa United should use its official ambulance for their future Nigeria Professional Football League matches in Lafia. The development comes after the death of Nasarawa defender Chineme Martins, who slumped in their MPFL match against Katsina United at the Lafia Township Stadium recently. The defender didn't receive adequate medical attention while he was unconscious on the field, while the ambulance that was to take him to hospital failed to start. Martins was eventually rushed to the hospital in one of the vehicles on the convoy of Governor Sule. Super Eagles technical advisor Janot Roy has applauded the decision of Confederation of African Football CAF to postpone the Nations Cup qualifiers to avoid further spread of the coronavirus, which is ravaging the world. Roy said majority of African players are plying their trade in Europe, especially France and Italy, where cases of coronavirus has been on the increase. He revealed that Super Eagles and SC Paderborn 07 of Germany defender Jamilu Collins is being quarantined for 14 days because some of his teammates have been affected. The Franco-German tactician also stated that The Super Eagles duo of William Ekong and Olaoluwa Aina, based in Italy, have successfully moved to England. And two-time Olympic champ, 800 meters champion Caster Semenya says he is supernatural as she confidently targets the 200 meters at Tokyo 2020. 29-year-old cannot compete in events between 400 meters and a mile without taking testosterone-reducing drugs after a World Athletics rule change. South Africa's Semenya ran 200 meters in 23.44 seconds, 0.69 seconds outside the Olympic qualifying time at an event in Pretoria on Friday. The three-time world 800 meters champion who spoke on her decision to switch to the 200 meters in an Instagram post must bring her time down to 22.80 seconds before 29 June to qualify for the South African Olympic team. Semenya, who won Olympic gold in the 800 meters in 2012 and 2016, missed the chance to defend her world 800 meters title in Doha last year, having failed in her bid to prevent the governing body's role change. And lastly, the Adopt an Athlete initiative of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development under the leadership of Minister Sunday Dare has continued to attract more private and public sector partnerships. The latest of such is the governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, who has opted to sponsor 6 Olympic-bound Nigerian athletes. This multiple adoption has become the single biggest boost to the campaign of the ministry to seek support for the Nigerian athletes to the 2020 Olympic in Tokyo. The athletes include Ese Brume, Blessing Okagbare, and Divine Oduduru, beg your pardon. The governor of Delta State was recently decorated with an award of honor for its support for sports development. The state had before now hosted the Africa Senior Athletics Championship in 2018 and the qualifying series of the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Olympic team under Emama Makpakabo. To mention but a few, the state also remains at the forefront of sporting excellence in the country, emerging overall champions in the last sports festival held in Abuja. We will continue to strive to be among the champions. We will also return tomorrow with the thrill to give you the major bulletin, and that is talking about the sports update of the news. My name is Hakim Akitade. Thanks for watching as I hand you back to Tunji.
We now serve you weather forecast for Wednesday.